Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul Channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And some people I thank who inspired me. I hope they can inspire you as well. We'll have links below to their sites. They are Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Rilon Anava, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rabbi Daniel Asser, Rabbi David Ashir, and Rabbi Ron Ruvain as well. If you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link below to my first video, which explains what M.L.M for the soul means, what it stands for, and what I'm doing. So this is again from the weekly insights from Rabbi Eli Mansour. This is on Parashat Beha'alotecha, the upcoming parasha, and I call this Cherish the Mitzvot, which are the commandments, and always be excited to do them. So we read in Parashat Beha'alotecha, chapter 9 of the laws of Pesach Sheni, the opportunity given to those who were unable to bring the Pesach sacrifice at its normal time on the 14th of Nisan, to bring the sacrifice 1 month later than on the 14th of Iyar. The Torah tells that Hashem commanded Bnei Israel to offer the Pesach sacrifice in the desert 1 year after the Exodus. But there was a group of people who were tameh, that was, they were impure at the time, and thus unable to offer the sacrifice. They approached Moshe and asked, Lama nigara, why should we be deprived of the privilege of offering the Pesach sacrifice? So Hashem spoke to Moshe and instructed that those who are impure at the time of the Pesach sacrifice or are far away from Yerushalayim at that time, and thus cannot offer the sacrifice, may bring the sacrifice 1 month later on Pesach Sheni, which is the 14th of Iyar. Imagine a group of high school students coming to yeshiva one morning in the winter, only to be told upon arrival that the heating system in the school was not working, and so school was canceled. The students then protest, insisting that they want to learn. Why should we be deprived of a day of Torah learning, they ask. This is hard to imagine, but this is in essence what happened in the desert when Bnei Israel offered the Pesach sacrifice. A group of people were exempt from this mitzvah due to their circumstances, and they complained. They were not relieved to be exempt from the mitzvah. To the contrary, they were distraught. And in the merit of their strong desire to perform this mitzvah, a new law was instituted, the law of Pesach Sheni. So the Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah tells that in the future, the other nations are going to come before Hashem and demand a share in the great blessings that will be granted to Am Yisrael at that time. Hashem will respond by giving them just one mitzvah to fulfill, and thereby earn reward, which is the mitzvah of the sukkah. The Gentile nations will then go and build Sukkot. But as they eat in their sukkah, Hashem will bring a heat wave, making the conditions in the sukkah very uncomfortable. The people will leave their Sukkot, giving a, quote, kick to their Sukkot on their way out. Hashem will have thus proven that they are unworthy of the great rewards granted to the Jewish people. A well-known halacha absolves one of the obligation to eat and reside in the sukkah. In the condition in the sukkah are very uncomfortable, which is mistaer patur min ha-sukkah. So the non-Jews will thus be justified in leaving their sukkot due to the oppressive heat. However, their attitude, kicking the sukkot as they leave, will demonstrate their lack of commitment. We are to relish opportunities to fulfill mitzvot and feel deprived when such an opportunity is lost. We might draw a comparison to an employee who shows up exactly on time and leaves exactly when the workday ends, each and every day. If he happens to arrive early, he waits outside the office and relaxes until he needs to show up. And if he is given an assignment to complete at the end of the day, he doesn't finish it if this requires him to stay overtime. A second employee, by contrast, is always eager and enthusiastic and firmly devoted to the company. He is happy to begin his workday early and volunteers to stay late to complete pressing tasks. When the time comes to choose an employee for promotion, it is not hard to guess which employee is more likely to be selected. Later in the parasha, we read of Bnei Israel's departure from Mount Sinai, or Har Sinai. It says, they journeyed from the mountain of Hashem. The Midrash famously comments that Bnei Israel left Mount Sinai like a child fleeing from school. They were excited to leave and relieved that they would not be receiving more mitzvot. The joyful departure from Sinai is considered by our rabbis as a great calamity, as Bnei Israel should not have celebrated leaving Har Sinai. Significantly, Bnei Israel did not leave Har Sinai 1 moment earlier than they were supposed to. They did not, quote, escape. They did not leave until the special cloud, which signifying Hashem's presence, arose, indicating that they should journey. And yet Bnei Israel are criticized because of their attitude, their feeling, and their mindset. We must always feel excited about mitzvot and not relieved when we are exempt from them. All this shows us the extent to which we are to appreciate the precious value of each and every mitzvah, and embrace and even pursue every mitzvah opportunity. Rather than disdainfully, quote, kick mitzvot, we are to cherish the mitzvot and eagerly seek as many chances as we can to serve Hashem through the fulfillment of his commands. And I hope and pray that we will all merit to live and see the coming Mashiach speedily in our days and rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen. And thanks for watching.